The maiden edition of the Africa Prosperity Dialogues was organized as a solution-driven initiative to fast-track the implementation of the AfCFTA. The African Continental Free Trade Area was birthed in 2018, but it still faces practical challenges. Speaking at the opening ceremony, Vice President Dr. Bawumia called on African governments to invest more in crucial infrastructure to facilitate trade under the AfCFTA.
Like the vision of our forebears, the African Continental Free Trade Area has set the stage for Africa's industrialization drive. But it will take concrete, strategic actions by governments and businesses on the continent, the right mix of policies, a greater sense of purpose for more robust intra-African trade to happen, to support economic diversification and the much-needed industrialization of the continent. To bring about the transformation we need, I propose 3 broad areas that we need to prioritize. First, there is the need for smart investments in critical infrastructure. As a continent, we need to produce and trade our way out of poverty and underdevelopment. And we cannot do that without investing in smart infrastructure across the continent. Whilst the last decades have seen some positive investments, there is the need for additional resources to finance the arteries for trade, which include the physical infrastructure such as roads, rail, and energy.
Secretary General of the AfCFTA Secretariat, Wamkele Mene, expressed confidence in Africa's ability to meet the $450 billion GDP projection by 2035, as this could lead to the creation of more jobs through innovative means.
We have a long way to go. We have a deficit, an infrastructure deficit of over $100 billion, as we have heard. We have a deficit in industrial output and capacity. We contribute only 2.1% to global trade and output. We contribute only 3.1% to global GDP. However, we know that our continent has attributes that will enable us to create opportunities, to accelerate growth, to ensure that young Africans have jobs here in Africa. As we've heard this morning, by the turn of the century, the largest number of working adults in the world will be in Africa, with the attendant rise in purchasing power, which will enable Africa to be one of the leading economies in the world 30 to 40 years from now. A very positive projection which you may be aware of, which I want to leave you with, and that is a projection by the World Bank, and that where we implement the AfCFTA effectively, by the year 2035, we have an opportunity to contribute to Africa's GDP $450 billion.
Executive Director of the Africa Prosperity Network, Dr. Eugene Owusu, also noted that the AfCFTA is a game changer, and once fully realized, this will mean an opportunity for the growth of the country's small businesses.
In the world of increasing economic nationalism, deeper intra-Africa trade is going to be our life support and indeed the basis of our collective prosperity. We do have on this continent, we do have everything that we need to transform Africa into a global powerhouse of the future. But in my view, the game changer is going to be the speed and scope of the implementation of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area.
The dialogues are organized by the Africa Prosperity Network and partners, which include the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat and the Presidency of the Republic of Ghana.